I don't have to do nothing but stay
So this is Liverpool versus everybody. That's going to be the preview of our newer channel, newer installment called Black Between the Lines. Couldn't get that started up today for some reason. I didn't realize it was 24 hours to start a new live on a new channel. But I'm very, very proud to have someone I really enjoy listening to and following here lately, past few months. One part of a really, really amazing podcast called Counterattack. I would say one third of that podcast, but really, really good. We got Michael Spencer. Mike, man, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Can you just tell us a little bit about some of the teams you played for and some of the things you're just doing in the community right now?
Yeah. So at the minute, I play for a team called Cheshunt in England. So that's like I'm not sure what tier it is, but it's like basically it's I think 2 or 3 leagues below professional. So it's quite close.
Okay.
But it's semi-professional. You still get paid. You get 200-300 people coming to watch the games. So yeah, I've been doing that since I left school really. So I do that, and then for work, I work for a team called QPR. So they're in the Championship, which is the league below the Premier League. So I work with them, and my role there is just to get kids into football between the ages of sort of 3 and 5. So I do that, and then I run my own little small company on a Sunday close to where I live. So I'm heavily involved in football, heavily involved in the game over this side of the pond, you know?
Very much so, and I appreciate you coming on, man. And definitely, like I said, been really enjoying the podcast. A lot of things you guys have to talk about. Just to jump into things here, I know you've probably spoke in depth, heavy, just with your homies back in over in the UK and just on the podcast, things of that nature. So if anything we say, you said it before, just bear with me, and let's just jump into it.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool, man.
Yeah. First things first is Sterling. I think we all know at this point the tattoo, the big news of this tattoo, and how much that's causing waves for whatever reason. And I guess from the American point of view and looking at it, to me, you know, I feel like this guy Sterling has been kind of bullied for a while now, just in the media. Things that I've heard about, like just him going out to simple as going out to get a meal or looking tired or whatever. And this is the kind of the newest thing. Surely you're getting a different vibe over there. To me, I think it's strange that it seems like it's low enough to where it's a place on his leg to where it wouldn't even really be shown, which I didn't really get why it was a big deal. I know why it's a big deal, but I think it's interesting that they've made this such a massive issue as far as even going as far to say he probably should pull out of the tournament.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. No, like for me, obviously, like me, I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't like the tattoo. I wouldn't get the tattoo. I don't think it was a sensible thing to do. But that being said, you got to take into account he's still a kid. And there's so many other players in his situation, or with a high profile like him, have done similar things in the past. I don't know if you're aware, like John Terry was the England captain going back however many years now, say 4 or 5 years, and he was racist on TV. It was caught on TV to Anton Ferdinand. Do you know what I mean? So and when he wasn't playing, there was talks for him to come back and play. So I don't see how you can do something like that, which is far worse than having a tattoo of a gun. Because end of the day, with the tattoo, people are making their own assumption and saying it promotes this, it promotes that. He's got the tattoo for whatever reason. He's explained his reasons, and that's why he's got the tattoo. So he hasn't come out and said, "I've got it because I like guns and I want to shoot." Do you know what I mean? Whereas
Right.
John Terry was racist. Like we know that he said
Without a
something
doubt.
which was racist,
Right.
but it's not an issue. Do you know what I mean? For me, I just think he's young and he's rich and he's black, and I really think that's sort of the fundamentals of it. Sometimes you always get players who sort of you can kind of scapegoat, and he is definitely that because some of the things that that they've reported on him, how it even gets published, I'll never know. There was one where Sterling drives his car, which is dirty. How can that make news? Because around the world, there's some serious things going on. So the fact that that can even take up a page in a newspaper, it just makes you wonder, sort of, what's on the agenda. What have they got against him personally?
Yeah, and for me, I'm disappointed that the idea that he even had to explain himself. You know, I mean, I
Of
think if that's Harry Kane, nobody's saying anything. You know, Harry Kane being kind of this great white hope in England and being the lead striker, things of that nature. In
Definitely.
my opinion, I just feel like if it's Harry Kane, it's brushed under the rug, and it's like, oh, cool, new tattoo, and it's no one else says anything. So it's just being a Liverpool fan. Of course, a lot of Liverpool fans could care less what's going on with Sterling as far as how he left. But for me, it's still an issue that I think needs to be talked about. You know, and people will try to call it everything else but what it is, and it's definitely racism. You know, it's not
Of
even
course,
really.
like
There's no real conversation to be had about it. That's what it is.
no, I mean you have to look at like I don't know if you're familiar with Edison Cavani, Uruguayan
Oh yeah,
striker.
yeah.
Um, and when he scores and he's doing like the
Oh, the
machine
gun.
gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robbie Keane, who was in the Premier League for a long time and scored
Uh-huh.
over 100 goals and scored how many goals for Ireland, and would do his little sort of half somersault and gun signs, and it's never a
Mhm.
problem. It's
Yeah.
never promoting. It's never been an issue which is provoking or promoting gun crime. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm.
We got kids who are playing Call of Duty till God knows o'clock. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
And then we've got you got kids like shooting super soakers, and you can buy toy guns in the shop. That's not promoting, but just a gun on its own. It's not like someone was holding the gun, or there's you can sort of infer and say this might mean this. It's just a gun. That's all it is, and it's
Yeah.
in a place where you wouldn't even know.
Nope. Not with the socks on.
This is what I'm saying, because he's training, so he's got short socks. If he's in a match, you don't even know it's there.
Oh, man.
So why it just doesn't need to come up. It doesn't really
Yeah.
need to come up. But even what you were saying about some like the Liverpool fans and the way Sterling left, and I think even like going back to things like that, I think we need to remember like obviously football players, I don't know why, but they're held on a crazy pedestal. Yeah,
Yeah.
but we have to remember that these guys are just like me and you.
Hmm.
They're in a job. So at the time, and don't get me, because even though I'm an Arsenal fan, but I've got a soft spot for Liverpool, and I've got a massive soft spot for Klopp.
That's kind of
But
why I got you on, man.
but yeah, so at the time, Sterling saying he wants X amount of money, which he felt he deserved, rightly or
Right.
wrongly. It
Yeah.
can be disputed, and obviously, no matter, everyone's going to be motivated by money, but you're going to be motivated by trophies as well, and bettering yourself. So it's like in your line of work, if you're going to get offered more money and what you see long term as a better opportunity to achieve what you want to achieve, you're going to go regardless. You know what I mean? You can't, as a footballer, we expect them to be loyal. Do you know what I mean? Just so we're happy and we can say, yeah, he's loyal. But
Mm.
the moment a club doesn't need you, or they replace you, or they feel, yeah, we don't need you anymore, that's it. You're not playing, or you're getting sold on. So it's just like anything in life. You always have to look after number one. And when you look on it, can you really say he's made a bad decision? Because he's, I still think he's a work in progress,
Oh,
but
no question.
you can see where he has improved, and he's starting to win trophies now, and he's making the money. So fair play to him.
And that's what he said he wanted to do. He wanted to win trophies, and you can't really knock that. But that's obviously not just for Liverpool fans. You know, fans
No,
in
no, no,
general.
no. That's yeah. Mostly
Yeah,
Arsenal
yeah, and I
fans.
know you weren't sounding. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Mostly
Yeah.
because we're the worst for that. Over the years, Robin van Persie leaves and we hate him. Fabregas leaves and we hate him. Anyone who leaves Arsenal, we hate. But if you look at it, majority of players who leave Arsenal all go on and better their career, and they'll go and win things. So
Yeah,
can you?
and can't really knock
You
him for
can't
that.
really you can't knock them for that because I do the same. A football career is not like your work career. You get what I'd say, if you're lucky, you get 10 years where you can have a really good go at it,
That's
and
really
then
lucky. That's
you've
really
got
lucky.
yeah, just
Yeah.
and then you sort of at towards the end, you might be sort of thinking, you know what, I'm just going to be sort of motivated by money. I'm going to make as much money as I can because I'm not going to make this type of money. So you've
Mm-hmm.
only got a small window in
Mm-hmm.
order to achieve what you want to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be selfish.
And plus, it's a rough game, man. You know, and that's sports in general. You get injured, and your career could be over. So you might as well make as much as you can in
This
that
is
in that
it.
short amount
It's
of time.
no, of course, because I mean, with football now, people are playing a little bit longer. But when I was younger, it was if you hit 30, that's it. You're pretty much done. You're
Mm-hmm.
coming to the end. So, if you're getting into the game, let's say, you get your run at 22, you're looking 8 years, and that's
Mm-hmm.
hoping that you don't get injured within that time either. So, you got to do what's best for you. I don't think we can really hold it against the players. Right? We need to realize if we're in that position and you've got kids and you've got this and you've got these amount of outgoings, there's going to be other things that motivate you.
Yeah, no, I agree. And on to another City player, Yaya Toure. What are you making of what do you make? I love this. I love Yaya Toure, and I guess for me, my main beef with him is that, and there's a lot of different reasons why maybe he didn't say this during the season. Obviously, he
Yeah,
wanted to play and all that, but it comes off very, very sour now. At the same time, he's not the only player that's come out and said some similar things.
yeah,
And
I've seen a
so,
few bits.
yeah, a lot of people have come out. So just talk to me about how you feel about that. Do you think there's any truth to it? Do you think Guardiola does really bank on going to these teams where he can get a bunch of money, as opposed to Klopp, where you see Klopp is kind of, I don't want to say making these. I hate when people say, "Oh, he made this player," but he improves these young players, Mane, Salah, Firmino, all these guys he's improving. Guardiola
Yeah.
maybe with Sterling, maybe Sane for Kevin De Bruyne, maybe, but he's more of a money guy. And do you think that anything of what Yaya Toure has said might have any legs at all? Do you think he's a little sour because he didn't get to play as much or whatever? Because to me, I think Yaya Toure
Um.
is a legend for City. That's just me though.
Yeah. Listen, Yaya Toure is a City legend. He's a Premier League legend because he come in when he did come in for City initially, and he sort of carried them in initially where they were trying to challenge Man United. And he, in the big games, he was always there. He got all the big goals pretty much. And then everyone else started to come in. Your Agueros and all your other bigger players now who have kind of taken over from him. I do think. It's a hard one. I don't want to say it's sour, but it does kind of come across sour. Um, I see like there's a few bits where people were saying it's sort of or people trying to say like it's a race thing, which I personally don't think so. I think it's more just the bigger characters.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't necessarily say he doesn't know how to deal with bigger characters, but because I do a lot of like research and I've read a lot up on Guardiola, and like everything is the team before anyone else.
Hmm.
So a lot of the time when you do have bigger personalities, that kind of can threaten the overall team play or the do you know what I mean? So like with um Ibrahimovic, for instance,
Hmm.
when he was at Barcelona, um Pep would say because everyone's got their nice cars because they've got all their money, and he said to Ibrahimovic, when we come to training, don't drive, your big nice cars. We just everyone. I think everyone had like a club car or something. So he was like,
Mm.
just drive this car. This is what everyone brings to training. So initially, Ibrahimovic is doing it. Then there was a little spell where he was in and out the team. He got a bit frustrated, so he's come in. I don't know whatever car it was, but he's pulled up in training, and the press are going crazy. Look at this car; it's worth this amount. And like, let's say they played, I don't know, Betis the week before. Oh, you know, that car is worth more than the Betis team combined, and these types of things. So then
Okay.
Pep's kind of gone to him and goes, you know, what are you doing? And he's not really kind of backing down. I think it's more just that big personality.
Personalities, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's quite similar to Alex Ferguson, where if it wasn't his way, you was at the door. Like David Beckham at a time where Beckham was, you know, he's massive, and Fergie was sort of like, you know, I'm not having that jeopardize me and the team. You're out. Roy Keane, he did the same. Yap Stam, he did the same. And I think
I wonder if he
it's
did. I wonder if he
more.
did that to Cantona. I know he loved Cantona.
Maybe. Well, Cantona retired, didn't he? But maybe there was something to that as well. But yeah, I think it's more of that with Pep. Everything is geared around the team, the team, the team, the team, the team, the team. I think if someone sort of I wouldn't say Yaya thought he was bigger than the team, but if Pep feels that someone is a danger to that, I think that's when it becomes a problem. That's what I think.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That's some. Those are some good points. It's definitely interesting now that he's talking about. And again, I don't. So much you can really believe with the papers, but something about him willing to get $1 million. It's $1 million a week,
Yeah.
something like that, to play for United or Liverpool. Apparently, he wants to squash this myth of Guardiola being this amazing talent. So that'll be interesting to see how that works out. Like I said, I rate Yaya, and it is kind of disappointing as a fan of him to see how his last season ended that way. But we
Yeah,
know
definitely.
Guardiola is very, very, for lack of a better term, hardcore. And if he doesn't like a certain thing or a certain style of play or a player, he gets rid of him quickly. And to
Yeah.
a degree, I kind of respect that. He said he did that with what's the keeper they had, Joe Hart. Got him out of there.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Hart, it's a funny one, that one, because Joe Hart doesn't like traditionally. Guardiola likes like a sweeper keeper, like a Manuel Neuer, so a keeper
Right.
who's high off his line and who is comfortable with the ball at their feet, because he's sort of in the belief of, if I've got two centre backs, let's say, and they've got two strikers who come to press our two centre backs, the goalkeeper becomes another player. So we've got an overload. So we've got a 3v2, which we can get out and get passed on to their next line of defence. So, but Joe Hart wasn't really into sort of that. He'd get it, and he wasn't comfortable on the ball, and he was just looking to go long. And I remember when it was announced that Guardiola was coming over, me and a good friend of mine, he even messaged me and he goes, Joe Hart's out the door. And that was before Pep's even in the job. And I was like, yeah, Pep's not, Joe Hart's not his type of keeper. So it didn't really have nothing to do with, at that time, he wasn't, I think he's fallen off massively now, but he wasn't as bad as he is now. But it's just, he didn't have the attributes that Pep was looking for in that team.
I never really rated him in the first place, but it does seem like maybe that happening to him really has taken something out of him. You know what I mean? Like, again, he never was really top class to me, but he was decent. He was a decent keeper. He was
Yes.
definitely a part of those trophies that City was winning. But it seemed like Pep might have really, really done something to that guy's career. And I feel like Pep might have that effect on a lot of players, good or bad. So, but that kind of ruthlessness, I like to see hopefully more with Klopp, for example. I think there's some players in that team that, moving forward, you just can't really. Yeah, sure. You got a Milner or Henderson who played out of their skin this season, especially Milner. I mean, he just rolled back the years.
Yeah.
But you can't get that consistently. You just can't. And so, are you going to stick with those guys? Are you going to stick with the keeper? Are you going to stick with Lovren? So I would like to see more of that with Klopp. So if there is one thing I could say about Guardiola, that's one thing that I really liked about him, that he's really, really ruthless. Doesn't really care what other people think about it. His system's going to work. He believes that. And more times than not, it does. So, say what you want about him. He does pretty well. Moving on, man. The World Cup, we know it. It's going to be some unprecedented things this season with VAR. That'll be the first. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be tricky. And it's in Russia. We know that. So it's going to be a lot of funny style things going on, I think. and we got guys like Danny Rose, asking his family to stay home and not have them travel. I believe there's going to be a lot of controversy going on, and I think a lot of it's going to be really, really bad. I hate to even speak that into existence, but I just have a feeling that it's going to be some real sour things going on in Russia this season. And I just, my prayers go out to the family that go there, and hopefully they can get there and get back safe. But just talk to me about, you being English. I don't know what your background may be, but do you find yourself kind of pulling for the African teams when it comes to these kind of tournaments?
You know what? To be honest, before I didn't as much, but now, like the older I get, and the more sort of, I wouldn't say I was naive as a child or when I was younger, but the more I sort of do my own research, and I think, you know what, that's what I want more. So obviously, what we got this year, Senegal, Nigeria, Egypt, and Morocco, I think, are the four. So I'd like them to do well. I wouldn't say, no, I mean, I don't think England will do well anyway. So I wouldn't say I want them to do well or win. There's a few players that I'd like to see do well. But yeah, I'm probably going to go with Nigeria will be the team that I'm supporting the most. Nigeria and probably and Senegal because Mane, and I'm a big Mane fan as well.
Yeah, I think Senegal have a pretty good spine. Kuala Bali, they have Idrissa Gueye, who I think is slightly underrated as a defensive midfielder. Kouate, of course, Mane, and then Keita Balde, I think his name is. So, no, I think Senegal is one of those kind of dark horses. But it's a tournament, you know what I mean? I think with the VAR, it's going to be a lot of different things that we haven't seen before.
Of course. A
lot of luck will be involved, and you can always put in your favorites. Germany, Spain. I don't know who else they put in there. Maybe Brazil, but I think it's going to be a really interesting World Cup for all the reasons we've discussed. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
No, definitely. I mean, there's certain teams like Germany is one of them teams. You just, even if they're not playing well, they know how to get there. They're winners. They know they'll be there or thereabouts, regardless. I think Brazil, on paper, Brazil look really, really good. But I was watching them against Croatia the other day, and like, don't get me wrong, going forward they're wicked, but they were trying to play out from the back, but it just wasn't on. And Croatia were pressing high, like 4 players high up the pitch, and they, like, in the space of 5 minutes, they gave the ball away, like on the edge of the D, like 2 or 3 times, and I thought, that's crazy. So I think Brazil can get got at, but I don't think it will be as bad as like when Germany was 5-0 up in 20 minutes the last World Cup, because they were literally walking through. Do you remember that the 7-1?
Yeah.
Obviously they've got. I don't see that happening now because they've got. You got Casemiro, who he's growing on me, and you got Fernandinho. I'd imagine will be the 2 sitters. So it's a nice little block there, which will be hard for teams to get past. But if you get past it, you got Marcelo, who's again very good going forward, but he's gonna be up there on the left wing. So there's every chance if you can get down, you're gonna get down that side. But I think Brazil will be in and around it as they always are, sort of quarterfinals, semi-finals. But
they definitely should be. I think a lot of it has to do with. I mean, I feel like I got to give the manager they got right now credit, because he does kind of have them playing as if, if Neymar isn't there, they still can be somewhat functional. But I do think if he's not playing, that is going to be somewhat of a loss. You know what I mean? That's their best player, so I think a lot will be riding on if he's fully back and fit. And I think a lot of times with these friendlies, these guys really want the World Cup to start. Not to say that they're not playing hard, but I feel like their mind is definitely like, okay, this is kind of practice. I can do this in my sleep. Let's just get the group stage started so we can actually get to some real action. So that's obviously back in their mind. I want to do a quick shout out to
like no one really likes friendly games, even when I'm playing friendly games, because it's you're not really going to give 100%, even though you want to. Subconsciously, you just don't give it your all. And it's just kind of, you're just doing it for the sake of it. You just want the games to matter, so you can go and just just leave it all out there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I want to shout out Czech Tiote, the Ivorian, passed away
Oh,
last year, June 5th. So that was 2 days ago, anniversary of his passing.
yeah,
So I
crazy.
was reminded by that the other day. But no, I think that about wraps it up, man. Spence, such a joy to have you, man. I'm glad we finally were able to do this, and I hope that in the future we can get you back on. Of course, when you have time. Shout out to you for
Definitely, of
the
course, man.
anniversary,
And you
man.
know, thank you. Yeah, it was a really good one as well. But as well, thanks for the support, and you know,
Of
thanks
course.
for following and listening to the counter attack. You know, hopefully, like hopefully we can get out there the American market and get the American people involved in us. You know, because
That would be
we're just, you
beautiful.
know, we're just.
How long you
But
guys been
yeah,
doing it?
say that again. Sorry.
How long you been doing it, the podcast?
We've probably been doing it maybe a little over a year now.
Okay.
So it's quite we haven't been doing it a long time, but it's starting. I think it's as well some of the because we do talk football, but sometimes you know the lines get blurred a little bit, and it does kind of get political when we talk
Yeah,
about
yeah, yeah, yeah,
race and
yeah,
things
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. And I think that's where it's those types of episodes where we start getting a little buzz. So when we done like the Sterling one, like
Mm.
a lot of people were, you know, were coming back and saying, "Oh, you know, can you do it about this and can you do about that?" And we really liked
Okay.
what you were saying and this, that, the other. So yeah, we just, you know, we're trying to talk what people out there are trying not to talk about. You know, we're just
Right.
trying not to censor ourselves. We just tell it how it is.
Nah, and I think that's definitely the attraction for me. If you can just plug your Twitter if you don't mind, and then Counterattack's Twitter.
Okay, yeah. So my Twitter is Mike Mike underscore Spence Spence 2118. And then the counterattack. So that's the podcast that I'm part of. Our Twitter is at on the counter say. And then we're also as well, we're on Instagram as well, if anyone's out there on Insta. So the Insta is at on the counter attack, and my Insta is at Spence Spence 2118. And then yeah, if anyone wants to listen out there, you know, you can catch us and hear what's hot and what's not in the world of football, you know.
Yeah, that's what's the? I know I listened on it through I keep want to say SoundCloud, and then are you on iTunes as well or no?
We're on iTunes, we're on
Okay,
SoundCloud,
okay.
Acast, but I don't know all them details there.
No,
Like
that's cool. That's cool.
that's
That's cool.
yeah, Dapo knows all that stuff. He's that guy. I just come and talk.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
my
my
man.
role.
No, that's all good. No, man. Hey, thanks again. I appreciate it. And there you go, guys. Michael Spencer, really love you to have you, and hope to be able to chat to you soon, bro.
Most definitely, man. Hopefully we do a little something during the World Cup, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely.
All right, brother.